Hello everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this exciting webinar. My name is Pedro and I'm honored to be your moderator for this session. We are delighted to have two esteemed speakers from Quadcode with us today, Kate and Ivan. For those who don't know, Quadcode was founded in 2013. They have a presence in over 150 countries. They have launched over 20 brokers and they won multiple awards doing so. So Kate and Ivan bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise in financial technology and brokerage services. So we're fortunate enough to have them share their insights with us. And before we dive into our discussion, I want to let you know that there will be a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the webinar, and it will also be posted on our YouTube channel for those who couldn't attend, okay? So without further ado, Kate, Ivan, the floor is yours.
Hello, guys. My name is Ivan. I'm working as a business development manager at the Quadcode, and I usually help the clients start their own brokerage. And this will be as you know, the main topic of today's meeting.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate. I'm not that good at self-introduction, so I'll cut it short saying that I have several years of experience in B2B sector and in marketing. And I'm happy to see you all in here and talk about brokerage launch today.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to start the presentation, and you guys please let me know if you can see my screen. Kate, Pedro, can you just confirm? Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get to business. So today's topic will be the 10 steps to start your own brokerage brand. And during today's agenda, we'll basically discuss everything, beginning from like a typical beginning of any business. We should begin by doing the market research, then crafting the business plan for our needs and what we'll be doing on the market. Then address some technical stuff, like, for example, liquidity requirements. Then going through the jurisdictions, licenses. Then choosing the trading platform based on our business plan, our research, what we have concluded during those two steps. And then we're going to move to the back office and what we are going to basically needing besides the trading platform itself. Afterwards, we will be talking about the risk management strategies that we can actually implement, as running a brokerage is obviously, like all businesses do possess some risk, but in this case, you have to be careful, extra careful, I would say. Then we'll just continue by speaking about the payment solutions that we provide for our clients, for deposits, withdrawals, etc., just how to make it seamless and as smooth as possible. And then afterwards, we'll speak about for example, marketing, and then finally about refining the broker. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing is market research. When we speak about the brokerage and starting one, the first thing that should be defined probably is where we are going to start, right? So based on different regions, we will have different picture for many different things. For example, we will have different costs for client acquisition. We will have different laws. We will have different financial instruments that are popular in these regions and popular among certain ethnicities, and therefore, this will heavily influence our future investments in the marketing and basically the whole development of the platform and marketing itself, right? So what do I mean by it? If we take, for an example, a region like Brazil, they for example tend to have higher leverages. They offer higher leverages than, for example, Europe, and that is something to be taken into consideration. However, for example, an average European trader might have way more money than an average Brazilian one, and therefore that also has to be taken into consideration. However, the client acquisition cost might be higher in Europe and lower in Brazil. Also, the client acquisition ways, or for example, the marketing ways that we use to drive the traffic might differ from region to region. For example, in some regions we might find out that the ads are still very relevant and actually still work very well. But in some regions, for example, something like affiliate marketing, social media marketing, the influencer marketing, things like that are way more effective. And all those things actually will come together in the end and determine it's simply the nature of our platform. How are we going to market it? What are we going to do with it? It is very dependent on what we want to achieve and who we want to target, right? So that's very important. Then we go to the crafting a strategic business plan. So what I mean by crafting a strategic business plan. So, okay, let's imagine that we've chosen a region where we want to operate, and then we are going to have certain fees associated. So, well, based on the region, of course, we spoke about the marketing fees, for example. They will be different. We'll be well wasting or investing different amounts of money in different types of marketing. But besides that, we will have different, for example, fees for things like licenses, technological infrastructure. Then we will go to, for example, office space, like based on the fact that whether or not we want to operate the business fully remotely, or which is actually possible, or we want to have some teams that are actually well in the same office working together, then the cost will differ, right? So also the employee salaries. So if we're operating a business in Europe, the employee salaries will be quite different from the one that we will be paying to, for example, to Brazilian or other types. So it is very market dependent, and also it's very important to take into consideration the fact that different markets will require different speaking agents. So even if you are a brokerage that works from, I don't know, US, let's say, and you want to target global audience and go to expand your reach to South America, to Africa, Middle East, China. Well, you have to acquire people, or for example, support user specialists from different areas to assist those people, right? Or the users from those regions. So that changes a lot of things. What else is very important? When we speak about different regions, it is also very important to think about the fact that for example, regions like Brazil might prefer like mobile applications, and so the activity of users might be dependent on whether or not we provide good mobile applications. But in Europe, we might have a different picture. And also, it's also very important to think about. Okay, so we're launching a brokerage, but some regions are way more technologically advanced, while others simply are not. So those things, for example, if someone prefers trading from the web browser, someone prefers trading from applications like mobile applications, it's very different. Even when we speak about mobile applications, we have to take into consideration the fact that if we look at the Middle East, Asia, and even South America, most of those regions actually use the Android applications. While, for example, iOS is predominantly used in US and in European Union, and in some other countries, for example, Israel, it's very popular in Israel as well. So those things actually matter, because if the population is working is more using iOS, even if we are providing the Android application in the wrong place, so we might simply not be able to offer our services to majority of the people. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Let me go to the next part, which is a very important thing. So when we speak about starting a brokerage, there are things to be determined, and what is that? So what type of brokerage are we going to be running? There are three main types, which is A-book, B-book, and hybrid broker. What's the difference between those? So A-book broker essentially is outsourcing trades to a liquidity provider who will be taking responsibility of the trades made by the users. The B-book takes the responsibility to handle those trades by themselves. And the hybrid is when you have A-book for certain assets or certain financial instruments, and you have B-book for others. So you outsource the trades, for example, that you deem to be risky, or you are not sure that you can handle them properly, and you just keep the ones that you are very confident that you can make some profit out of, right? So what are the other ways that, for example, A-book broker, B-book broker, and hybrid as well, they make money through? Okay, so the traditional way for the A-book broker, and basically the only ways are through commissions. So we will have trading commissions, the spread markups, the deposits and withdrawal markups. There will be overnight swaps, essentially the commissions that users will be charged for keeping a position open overnight, right? And then we will go to some other things like, for example, inactivity fee, currency conversion fee, volume-based rebates, etc., etc. But for example, if you are speaking about currency conversion fees, there might be some legal things. For example, if it's happening on the platform, you need additional licensing, etc. Because it's a bit of a different business that you can actually make additional income from, but you would need to fulfill some requirements from different regions and legislations, right? Okay, so then we move to the next thing, which is selecting the ideal jurisdiction and acquiring the license. So so the world, there are many licenses in the world, and there are regions that are highly regulated, and there are regions which are not as regulated. What does that mean? For example, if I want to start a business or specifically brokerage in Europe, I would have to get a license. The licensing piece that I will have to pay in Europe will be very different from the ones that I will have to pay, for example, in lesser regulated areas, like, for example, South Africa, maybe, like Oman, India, Bangladesh, some other countries. So there are highly regulated regions like US, Japan, New Zealand, Europe, and there are some other lesser regulated regions like Brazil. And most of the cases, people who like to operate globally usually simply go to the offshore ones where they can. Well, it's simply a bit easier to get the license. It doesn't cost as much, and well, you also get better tax rates. So most of the time, people choose to go to the offshores. So they open a bank account there, register the company, and simply operate from those regions. Then we move to the next one, which is choosing the perfect trading platform. So choosing a trading platform is very important. So, and it will be based on the market strategy that you are going to choose. For example, if you're targeting a certain region, which is predominantly using, let's say, mobile applications, and you would like to market your platform mainly through social media, you probably will find out and probably know that the younger generation is using those, for example, tools and social media generally a bit more than the older generation, even though they are using it as well. So what does this mean? If we are targeting someone and we're choosing a trading platform based on the complexity of the platform, the requirements of the platform as well, right? So we spoke about, for example, if someone in a certain region doesn't have the technology to load and use a comprehensive platform, which is simply a bit heavy on the RAM, let's say. It will be troublesome, right? And it will affect the user experience, user engagement, and it might actually cost you some money. But if we choose all these things correctly, and we take into consideration the fact that the age group that we will be targeting, for example, if you want to go and check some of the examples, like for example, we take MT4, MT5, which is very popular, right? So the average user age, as far as I know, is higher than 30 years old. So if you're marketing that trading platform, you have to take into consideration the fact that like the people who actually use this platform are above the stage, and where can they be found, right? So it will greatly change the dynamic of our marketing and our and where we'll be investing money. But on the other hand, for example, you might find other platforms like the ones operating in like IQ options or Xnova, stuff like that that offer a simple way. The trading on the platform will be more simple. It has higher user engagement, and it will be, for example, better for you to market that to the younger audience. It is easier to start. There's not much to learn. It's very intuitive, better user engagement. But it's simply based on your preferences. What are you going to do, and what your goals are, right? And then we move to the next one, which is securing an efficient back office solution. So this is a very important part. So there is some people actually might not know, but besides the training platform that you can get and acquire from different people or software providers, you need some other things as well to operate the brokerage. What I mean by that? So you actually need certain modules and services to fulfill the needs of the users and make sure that everything is going all right. So let's start by the modules. So what I mean by the modules? So for user engagement, user retention, and simply better understanding the performance of the platform, we would need a few things like a sales module, marketing communication, obviously. Then we would do CRM, where we'll be keeping all of their data, like how our instruments are performing, what is the average deposit that the clients makes, which instruments are profitable for us, which are not profitable, where we should drive the traffic from one instrument to another, basically get all kinds of data that we need, right? So it's very important. So you either get the solution where it's all integrated into the trading platform. This is the best case scenario because you have the trading platform and you simply are getting data out of there. But there are options where you can integrate this separate CRM system from someone else and connect it to your trading platform. Then we go to the user communication. This simply we are speaking about the user support specialist, right? So we have to keep in touch with our users, provide feedback, help them out when there's a need, help them navigate through platform, provide any kind of assistance they need, right? So it's a very basic thing. Like in our business, we need that here as well. Then we go to the affiliate system. The affiliate system is simply it's very popular for brokers to market their platform through affiliates, and you need a separate affiliate module to navigate navigate different performance of different affiliates, check what's going on. It also makes it easier for them and for you as well. Then we go to the services. So what's very important when we speak about the back office, we are let's say that we are operating brokerage. What do we need? Besides the modules that we need to keep the retention, etc., we need a few things to make sure that the platform is performing as it's supposed to be. And for example, we are not being cheated, abused by people who, have certain inclinations to use some bugs, for example, to their advantages, or use like high frequency trading software to cheat you out of your money. So what's going to happen here? So you are going to need a few teams. You're going to, for example, you need a dealing desk team, which is going to set the conditions for trades. That they're going to make sure that you're profitable. But besides that, they will be monitoring overall performance of the financial instruments, different assets, and checking like what's going on behind the scenes. And so you have the full picture and analysis of what's going on the platform. Then you move to the billing. It's simply the fact that you have to navigate like what's going on in the when the money gets deposited, gets withdrawn. You have to make certain verifications, etc. And then we go to the KYC. KYC is a very important part. So KYC is nowadays simply mostly automated. So what does that mean? So whenever a user registers from a different region, because the brokerage can be a multi-region business, and a lot of people can come from different regions to simply to your website and start trading. You have to do the KYC. You have to check their nationality. You have to check where they're from, where they're living, if they're, for example, of age, etc. So what does that mean? So when you do the KYC the right way, you actually keep yourself out of legal trouble. So if you don't have a license to operate in US, it would be smart to avoid serving any US citizens, right? So this is what you need the KYC for. For example, if someone from US goes onto your platform and you don't have the proper license, you would like to check it. You would like to check them and you explain to them, even though you like our platform, you would like to trade, we simply don't have this right to provide you services. So it is actually your legal obligation to take care of this. And besides that, it's very important to also note that in different countries there are different, for example, identification cards, right? So in Brazil, there are different states, and in those states, the ID cards, or for example, the driving license might be different. So people, even though it's the same region, you might actually need some manual KYC as well, besides the automation or the ones that actually do it by themselves, right? So you would need to check. The system might not be able to identify certain ID cards or driver's license, and you might need to check, whether or not a certain person is really from Brazil. So it's something to keep in mind that sometimes, not all countries are the same, and when you do the KYC, you don't want to miss out some people simply because you don't have someone to check the cases where, for example, that have been declined automatically when they should not have actually been declined. And then we do the anti-money laundering. So that's very important. When you're a brokerage, you have to check whether or not everything's going all right, so you don't run into legal trouble. And then we move to the next point, which is implementing effective risk management strategies. What do we need to do to ensure the profitability of our platform? When we speak about risk management, there are two main things that we can do. One of them is dealing desk. We briefly spoke about that one, but there is also an anti-fraud. The main difference between anti-fraud and dealing desk is that anti-fraud is a proactive approach and the dealing desk is a reactive approach. What does proactive and reactive mean in this case? So let's say we are doing the KYC, right? So we have gathered some data, we have seen some users who have, for example, let's say behaved suspiciously previously on other platforms. And if we have been on the market for a while, we know that certain IP addresses, certain bank accounts, certain IDs, and certain people have the tendency to cheat or misbehave on the platform. So anti-fraud actually keeps this data and checks the users that want to register on the platform. And some of them will be filtered before they even start trading on the platform. So it is very important to have a good anti-fraud team, and it is very important to have the information. So even if the team is good, but they don't have the data to back them up, it will be very hard to do, right? So if I, for example, I have been on the market like 10 plus years, I have acquired a bunch of data regarding the bank addresses that, for example, certain cheaters use, IP addresses, and many other things. It is also very important to note that you would, some regions are more prone to cheating and higher risk. Actually, they're associated with higher risks. regarding in that sense than other regions. For example, if we take like Latin America, there are certain financial instruments that are very popular there, but there are, for example, other risks that come alongside those. For example, binary options, even if we have to mention. For example, South America is popular for that, but there is also high risk for the high frequency trading softwares, etc. So what does it mean? So when you take into consideration the region that you want to operate in, you would have to check for different things, and you would have to have actually a good anti-fraud team in place to take care of the cheaters. So this is something to keep in mind. Some regions are less prone to cheat. Some regions are more prone to cheat. So it is something that actually should be considered and taken into consideration. Let me move to the dealing desk. So dealing desk is a reactive approach. So some user actually has already registered on the platform, and we want to they will be the ones that will be checking their performance. So if someone is making suspicious trades, and there is something not right going on, the dealing desk is the one that is going to investigate the fact, not the anti-fraud. Anti-fraud investigates that beforehand, and dealing desk actually will react to the problems, right? So what's going on in this financial instrument? Why is it so not profitable? What's going on? And they're going to check from case to case and see and find out what is the reason. Okay, and then we move to the integrating seamless payment solutions, and my colleague Kate will take it from here.
One of the key success factors of your brokerage business would be connecting payment methods suitable for your selected target markets. The easier it is for a user to deposit, the higher the conversion rates to the first deposit, and then including some other factors, of course, to the further deposits. So getting secure and popular payment methods connected would help grow your active user base, extending lifetime value of your clients, and ensuring profitability of your business. Don't forget to take into account local specifics. Some of the payment methods you may think of as universally accepted may in fact not be so popular in certain countries or regions where there are native payment solutions in place, like for instance, wallets or QR codes, which is especially true in Asia. Next slide, please. Once your brokerage is built and ready to be launched, it's time to think through the marketing strategy, as creating an efficient marketing funnel is one of the crucial factors of your business success. Here, the best way would probably be trying out multiple channels that you can see listed on the slide, gathering and analyzing some statistics, and then based on the price per lead and quality of leads, selecting the optimal channels for you and redistributing the budgets accordingly. One of the top traffic acquisition channels known in the industry is affiliate marketing. For those unfamiliar, affiliate marketing is basically an outsourced marketing team that works through software that enables tracking traffic that they bring in and paying for leads on specific models such as revenue share, spread share, and cost per acquisition, known as CPA. So this channel does come with additional hassle of getting that software model integrating into your brokerage, but the reward is totally worth it. So strongly advise to consider getting this one on board. Let's move to the next one.
And finally, we've spoken pretty much about everything. So what is left to do? So we have acquired the platform. We've built the back office team. We've built the anti-fraud team, dealing desk team. We've actually created the marketing strategies and the systems that we are going to follow to drive the traffic. And finally, what we have to do is simply, like all businesses, is to refine the platform and the broker itself, right? So we have to constantly get the feedback from the users and have actually a good user support team or specialists that are going to provide the necessary details and reports about the performance of the platform, about the feedback of the users, what they like, what they do not like. And then besides that, we have to and we will act accordingly. So you have to make some changes, necessary changes if the users are, if the majority of the users dislike something or would like to add some features. Obviously, you listen to those to those reasons and then basically act accordingly. And afterwards, like beside the user report, you have to do simply be on the edge of on the edge of the industry, right? So you have to take into consideration the trends that are currently going on the industry. How can you develop? How is that actually? How does it fit the needs of the users? And what would be the next step? So you always need to listen to the users. You refine the platform. You look for the new things to develop, to add certain features, maybe tournaments, the different things, different ideas that could be added to the platform, and you simply go on from there.
Now that we walked you through the whole process, we'd like to talk a bit about our solution, which I personally believe is one of the best on the market, of course. And here's why. It is completely turnkey, meaning that in terms of both software, its maintenance, and some services needed to get your brokerage up and running, we get you all covered. Not only we can build a brokerage from scratch tailored to suit your brand, we also handle 90% of operations once the broker is launched, so that you as a business owner can focus on marketing, not needing to care much about all the possible tech issues and operational hassles and cost and some hidden fees that come with other white label solutions available on the market. Here on the slide, you can see the breakdown yourself. So here is how it works with us. With most white label solutions, you'll need to source most of the models needed for operation separately, while with us, there is a setup fee, which is quite flexible, and a monthly fee that would ensure your smooth operation with one point of contact in us.
Sorry, Kate.
On the following slide, can we see it?
Yep.
You can see the models that you can pick and choose, opting for those you need and dropping those not necessary for your broker. Combination of selected models will define the price. Important thing to note is that it only takes a couple of weeks to get a brokerage launch. The longer part would probably be the bureaucracy, which is not directly related to the brokerage building itself. And if we manage to spark your interest on the next slide, you can find our website with more details, our contact details to get in touch and maybe discuss some specifics and schedule a demo.
If you have any questions.
So thank you guys this was a very insightful presentation. I learned a lot as well myself. So as promised, let's open the floor for the Q&A. I'm not sure if anyone has asked anything yet, but as we wait for the questions to come up, I have a question of myself. Like, so even if I don't have a trading expertise, like, can I still open a broker? Is it still possible?
Yep. It is still very possible. So it is actually quite dependent on what your goals are. And so you can approach starting a broker in many different ways. So one of the ways that, for example, Kate described during the offering of our offering and the offering of other companies on the market. So what's the difference? So usually you have two ways to start a broker. Generally, you can go and get a license or white label for a certain platform. You can simply go and build a broker from scratch. But usually the latest one costs a lot. So people just go for the white label one. So what's the difference? So you have a few options there as well. You can either get like a full solution like the one that we provide, or you can like get a software trading platform like from one of the providers. Then you can go like get a CRM from another one. You can get the liquidity from someone else. Then get I don't know, like PSPs integrated from someone else, etc., etc. So you can actually build it up yourself. In this way, you have a bit more room for the customization in a way that, well, you can integrate the modules that you want, but usually, well, it depends on your needs and what you want to do. And there are there's another way around that, for example, would be easier for someone who doesn't have the previous experience, where you can basically outsource all those things and concentrate on the marketing. So let's say if you're someone who has the marketing experience at least, you can actually get a service where all the things that like dealing desk, the trading software, the CRM, all the back office things that they are for dealing desk is included. You outsource those things to someone else, and you handle the marketing stuff. So that would be the answer. Anything else?
That is pretty cool because I do have the marketing expertise, not the broker.
Okay,
yeah. So yeah.
It's very
so you
common,
mentioned
actually.
a lot of localization stuff. You mentioned that the region is very important. Do you guys have any countries or regions that you like to suggest, like to open a brokerage? Any insights that you can provide?
I think that the best place to start usually is the region where you live or where you have operated previously. So it's simply by nature you just know the place, you know the people, you know what they like, what they do not like. It will be easier to operate or start a business there. So it's just like any business, like the region that you are from probably is the best one, and you can expand from there on. But for example, if you are from a certain region but have lived and worked in another one, so the answer would be like the region that you know the most, and usually that's the one where you're from.
Okay, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, and in terms of like platforms, like I hear about, MT5 and MT5, MT4 and 5, like what advantages you guys provide over them? Because that's like the name that I keep hearing, and I discovered you guys, and you won like 2 major awards last year, and so there's got to be something there, right?
So yes, so MT4, MT5, it would be the like it has been on the market for a while, and like everybody knows them and knows the platform. Like it has its advantages. It's very comprehensive in certain ways, but it's on the other hand, like because it has been developed from a very long time ago, we have an issue that it is simply the user engagement, the user interface is not well as developed, I would say. And for someone who wants to actually start and get into the trading right now, I think like our platform would be the best one in that case. And yeah, for the user engagement, user experience, and generally like the easiness and smoothness of the platform, I think we have an edge. But there are also like advantages that they have. So it's very dependent like on what your goals are, what your audience demographic that you're going to target is. So that would determine like which one would you prefer.
Yeah, that makes sense as well. So like I'm getting that people are writing they're writing down questions on the chat, and for the audience, like there is a specific Q&A button you can press, so you can send your questions over. Not sure if you can see the chat, because people are asking about languages, I believe.
Yeah, that can be very possible. But so the question is whether or not you can get a platform with Arabic languages and Arabic and other languages. Yeah, that's very feasible. There's yeah, absolutely you can. Anything else, guys?
Just to add up, we have around 17 locales available, so there is plenty to choose from.
Yeah, that is really cool. So I'm just gonna wait a little longer. Maybe someone has another question to ask. And if they don't, like you can just call it, I guess. Just looking at the chat.
Yeah, guys, yeah, you can write whether in webinar chat or in Q&A session. I think I can see both. So any questions?
Seems like that was the one. So if there are no more questions, if there are no more questions, I think we can just call it, I guess.
Yeah, yep, we can wrap this up. Yeah. If any of you have like personal questions, yeah, just feel free to ask. If I can clarify anything for any of you, I'll be happy to do so.
Okay.
Can I ban USA users to visit my website? Yes, there will be a few ways for you to filter. One of them would be, for example, the KYC will take care of that as well. And like another way would be simply to like prohibit users from the USA IP address to access to your website. So that's going to filter a lot of the users. Like if you restrict by IP address, this is actually one of the best ways to handle that case. But then you still have to have the KYC in place. Why? Because I can be using a VPN, for example. I can be traveling. etc. So if I can connect from somewhere else, that this is going to make a lot of difference, right? So the KYC is going to check the users. So when they register, they have to provide some kind of maybe identification, or during deposit stage, they have to provide some type of identification. So at some stage, there is an identification asked per se, and during that stage, you check it, and if you find out that it's a USA user, you simply explain to them that unfortunately you cannot provide the services, and that would be it. So yeah, it's very possible, and that's how most of the brokerage services that actually handle that. Do you guys assist with the setup of the workspace and marketing strategies before launching? So we can provide our insights, but primarily we are a SaaS provider, which means that software as a service. We can provide the platform itself and all the other solutions from the back office to the CRM to the KYC to the business advisor to dealing desk to the anti-fraud. So all that will be included in our services. But the marketing part and the traffic part, right, about driving the traffic, is not something that we handle. However, we do provide a business personal business advisor to all of our partners, which means that all the time someone will be alongside you. So if there's a need to analyze something, if you have a certain feature in mind that you would like to develop, you can actually make a request to our development team, and we can actually develop and start working on those things. So we do not directly help you with the marketing strategies, but we do provide a business advisor who will be helping you out in that sense. But mainly you will be the one who is responsible for that. Anything else?
We do actually provide quite detailed guidelines on marketing that would help you get started. It's not like the whole thing, but it would be enough to at least understand the basics of marketing channels, maybe with some numbers that would help you initially think of where to invest first and how to prioritize the channel based on the experience we have ourselves.
There's another question.
Yes, you're right. KYC is better. So yes, KYC is better, but you will usually just have both of them. So it's like restricting like someone with IP address shouldn't be really hard. It will be relatively easy. So you will have to have like both in place, I would suggest. So you're like the teams that is handling KYC like isn't overworked per se, because you can filter a lot of them by IP address. Last question is, I have an office in my city. Some user can deposit by cash. Is there option for local cash deposits? If yes, how can we deal with bills between me and your company? I'll be honest, I don't have I have never had a case where someone has deposited by cash and how that's handled. I think that can be possible. Okay, do you have an idea how it works in that way or sense?
KYC wise, actually, this could be quite complicated, but operating from your own legal entity, you might be able to make it work still, but generally, this is not something we would recommend doing.
I think
are quite high in here.
So I think you would just have to do the KYC on place. I have if I had to assume, like for example, someone comes to your office and they want to deposit. First and foremost, like I would be very interested, like why would someone do that? Because like even if you have even if it's in your city, it's still simply more comfortable to go to your mobile application or to your computer simply and deposit from there. But if someone comes to your office, I assume you could just set up for example, ask them for documentation, for them to provide like different things, like their identification, their proof of address, if there is a need for one, and then you can basically check it locally that okay whether or not they can trade on your platform. And the last part for local cash deposit, if yes, how can we deal with bills between me and your company? The thing is that when someone deposits through cash or someone deposits through the application, so it essentially would not really make any difference, I assume, because the money will be shown on the platform. So I guess someone will just receive a notification from your side, I assume. I don't know like the technicalities how we would handle, but you simply would notify us and the balance will be filled. Or afterwards, or you can simply by through admin panel, you can just transfer the funds from your bank account to the account of the user, and just keep the cash there. I assume that would be one of the ways to handle this. If you have like any more specific questions or something, you can just ask them away, or just send us an email later, and we can just go through the details.
And yeah, I guess that was the last question. So thank you to everyone for joining us today. We hope you found the session both informative and valuable. Wait, there's something else. No. So yeah, a special thanks once again to our speakers, Kate and Iva, for sharing their insights and their expertise. So if you wanna take it from here, guys, just call it and say goodbye to the audience.
I would like to thank you, Petra, and Finance Magnates in general, for your assistance, for managing this event and helping us out, make this presentation and webinar to the people. Thank you a lot. It's much appreciated.
Thanks.
Don't have much to add. Thank you for joining us, for your attention, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk again.
I hope so. Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.